Let's get started. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. Today we'll be looking into a bit of basic concepts around how a RAG chatbot and such things are built. Things like what's a vector, what are embeddings, what's a semantic search, and so on. In the end, we'll also look into how Drupal AI is doing right now. Uh, it kind of includes all of these integrations. You just have to do few clicks and you are good. You can get up a full-fledged semantic search with um, nice fancy filters and yeah, and RAG chatbots as well with the new updates in Drupal AI. Right. Building a module, building an experience is quite easy today. You can just ask ChatGPT to get things built for you. But it's very important to understand what actually goes behind it. Things like how well do you prompt the chatbot, or how well the information should be indexed, and so on. So this is the agenda in short. This will be quite a short call today, hopefully. So to semantic search. So compared to a regular lexical search or keyword search, semantic search kind of understands the intent behind your query. For example, let's take a query like, hmm, when was the basket? I don't know, basketball match. What was there a basketball match in October? It's just a sample query, and according to your data, you really don't have any data point that says basketball match in October, but you have a data point that says soccer match in October. All right. So you'll get the data point. There was a soccer match in October. You can use this data, feed it to your model or your chat GPT or GPT or anything that it may be, which is going to tell you back there. I couldn't find any basketball matches in October, but I found a soccer match in October. So you could look at you could see something like maybe you got it wrong. Maybe you had initially meant soccer, but you maybe forgot or mistyped it, or you just wanted to know what was happening in October. So as you can see, both the data points were just related on basis of sports, and we did not add any uh, I don't know, any kind of custom code or anything else that says basketball is related to soccer or anything. It's all taken care by the embedding model or the model that we would be using. So, here's yeah. So on the right, you can see a quick snap of a comparison between lexical search and semantic search. So you can see Daniel Radcliffe. It does a it does a keyword search, and on the other hand, it understands the intent. So how rich refers to his worth, while the actor who played Harry Potter could refer to Daniel Radcliffe. So this understanding, it gets from a model, another model, which has been trained on all these kinds of data. I'll be sharing the slides as well, so don't be worried if you're not able to cover the text in here. It's a short presentation. So I'll quickly show you how these relation things work. This is like one of my favorite things that I have always been showing in one of these sessions or even sharing it with my friends. We can scan this to kind of open a little projector, which I will just show you guys are scanning. Yep. Just a minute. Alright. So yeah, this looks a bit fancy, but it isn't that difficult or anything. So let's pick up a random data point here in here. Or yeah, maybe just pick up sports, the one which we were referring earlier. Now, if you see, when I selected sports, all the data points related to sports are together in a corner, kind of in a corner. These are like multiple dimensions. That's why you see a lot more data points that are not directly related. But I mentioned about the embedding model, right? This embedding model returns you a kind of data is that is something that you cannot visualize because it's beyond a human perception dimension. It's like hundreds and thousands of dimensions. This is this is a recalculated one. It kind of removes all those hundreds and thousands to make it just a simple three-dimensional uh, data that you can kind of view. I'll come to the vector stores next, but I just wanted to give you an idea. So if you see the nearest points in the original space, so if you remember from the query that we um, discussed earlier, like what was there a basketball match in October? So yeah, so if there wasn't any basketball matches in your vector store, it would find the closest one. Maybe there was a soccer match in your database, so it would return you the soccer match and let you know that there wasn't any basketball matches available, but there was a soccer match if that was what you were referring to. Um, so in a normal lexical search and so on, you would have to build all those experienced with Solar Search or like any other normal search, you would often have to build a different kind of an index, or let's say add a lot of additional data points, or even some some methods to do some kind of a pre pre query processing or post query processing to capture all these different options, or let's say synonyms and alternatives to different words and stuff. Right now, here what you see is just a word. Now you can also imagine it as longer sentences. For example, there should be one with sentence. It looks like it would take a bit of time to load things up. We'll move to vectors and come back very soon. So vector stores. Now, when I said there was a model that kind of interprets your query, generates these high dimensional data points, you have to kind of store it somewhere. So like normal databases, you do have kind of rows and columns, but in a much more higher dimensional way. Just, yep. So vector stores, again, I cannot well, other than this two-dimensional way of showing how a vector database might look like, there isn't a practical way to show you how a vector database might look like. But I can kind of show you how the data is stored in here, or you can how the data is being previewed, maybe not stored. So this is a vector store, a fully managed vector store provider called as Zis. It's based on one of the uh, biggest, fastest, and super reliant open source database called Milvus. Anyways, so this is one of the recent project work that we stored using Drupal AI module. It takes care of how it should be indexed or how it should be stored and everything. Or I'll come to that in the end. But yeah, this is how your vector store looks like.
I
You
don't know
have
it's
a
everyone, but I see like an opaque screen on your screen itself. Like nothing is readable. It's not very readable. Maybe it's the brightness, or uh, it
this
feels like
is
it
oh
feels
oh
like blur on top of it.
oh
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Thank you for the, I just gotten so used to that opaque thing I almost forget to say. Yeah, this is quite bright. All right. So these are the data records in there, and the most important one in here is the obviously the ID field which we need to have with any data record. But more important than that is the vector field. So vector field is what those embeddings are, or this is what the model generates every time when you put in a query. I can actually show you a quick example. There are many model providers. This one just has a little UI that I can uh, edit and run in here. Just let me see. There was a way to edit it. Yeah, I'll just copy it into my terminal and show it to you. I hope this is visible for everyone.
Yes.
Yep. So what you see here are just some text input. I'll just cut it down a little bit for easier understanding. So here we are using a model called as Gina Embeddings V3, as you can see in the request, in the curl request. This module is by the Gina research team. Let's just run it. So this is our input, a simple string. So in case of Drupal websites or any kind of websites, you can think of small chunks of your blog page, a paragraph, or something like that. So once you send it to the model, oops, just give me a second. Uh, so it actually keeps track of my sessions and the free keys out, but I do have an alternate key. Just give me a second. All right. Yeah. So this is all that the embedding model does. It it provides us a fixed number of embeddings. These embeddings basically capture the relationships and you know um, a common kind of a relationship inside a huge dictionary kind of a thing. So it might expand the word organic skincare for something like organic could mean natural. So there could be an embedding uh, which positions itself close to being natural or real and such words. For skincare, it could bring it closer to something like skin and self care and so on. So it breaks down quite literally every word, but it keeps the since we're passing it as a single chunk or a single sentence or a single paragraph or something, it it keeps everything related to each other. So this whole list or array of embedding is is a direct translation to a machine readable thing of this statement or sentence. So in the database, as you just saw, yep. So in the database you saw, we have such vectors stored for every data point. And when we query, let's say our query, the first query which we were running, let's say, but sorry, yeah, basketball games in October. So we pass that query as well to the embedding model. It gives you the numbers. We just we just send that numbers back to this database, and this database does a very simple thing. It simply tries to find. It puts that query vectors into your database space and just finds all the similar vectors that are closer to it. That's how it works. It's super simple to kind of understand. We'll get to building it with the Drupal AI module soon. So yeah, also it can easily handle billions and billions of records. So that's how vector stores are kind of benchmarked. I'm not sure how the normal databases are benchmarked, but I guess that it could be quite similar. These are some examples. Phase is from the Facebook AI research group. Uh, it's something that if you Google it up, you'll find small libraries that you can run on your local. Pinecone is again a super famous, fully managed service where uh, Pinecone, yeah, both Pinecone and Milvus, I guess also BBA, they all provide you with small libraries or let's say some kind of an extension where you don't have to care about the embedding model as well. They provide some embedding models themselves. So you can just use it like a normal database. Maybe I'll show you a snip of code later after the presentation if we still have the time. So coming to RAG, must have heard a lot of people saying RAG is kind of a big thing and so on. But like I've always said, um, a version zero of RAG isn't really something that is difficult or anything. It's super easy. So, yeah, this is a quick understanding of the whole RAG architecture. So the query or the question could be, was there a basketball match in October? It sends it to the embedding model. Sorry. So it's sends it to the embedding model, finds the relevant data from your vector space, sends it to your ChatGPT or any model that you might be using, and just tells ChatGPT that these are the relevant documents that I found. So inside that relevant documents, one of the results could be there was a soccer match in October, there was a football match in Illinois in some other month, and so on. Like the most related text sorted by scoring and stuff. And and you also tell your model that this is the original query that the user asked. The user's query was there a basketball match in October? Now the model, being an obviously intelligent model, I assume everyone has at least tried ChatGPT since it came out like few years ago. Um, you must have given it some kind of information and made it generate something based off it. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're giving it some kind of information, which are the relevant data or the relevant documents that we fetched from the vector database, and just asking it to answer our original question. So that's it. That's all a RAG is. And there are like many more advanced RAGs which get into let's say multiple vector spaces, re-ranking the responses, re-ranking the results, adding guardrails to the responses. These can get quite complicated after you have uh, explored this V0 of RAG. But yeah, but if you start from V0, it's quite easy to build on top of it. You start with breaking down the queries. So sometimes your queries might be quite complicated. Let's imagine um, a really complicated query. What could it be? A query that captures two or three different aspects. Mm, I lost my child once, and maybe my husband's taking care of him now, and how can I visit him? So this could mean something around a bit of divorce, or maybe the person is uh, being under child protection, or things like that. You can think of any query that could have two different data points as their relevant chunks or documents. So you could have a pre-processing where you break down the query, run two different queries to the database, and re-rank or merge them together um, before sending it to ChatGPT. There are like endless number of things that you can do. So once we deal with the basics. All right. So the final is prompting. Now, after after ChatGPT became a thing, people have kind of slightly started to change how they really prompt any kind of a search engine, or let's say how they use queries across um, different search engines. So back in the times when keyword search or lexical search was a thing, typing in something like weather New York would be the best way to find the result. And not saying describe the weather forecast in New York this week. That would kind of make the whole search thing more difficult. But now it's kind of the opposite. If you if you ask a robot that weather New York, it's going to interpret like so many different things and throw at you a chunk of information that you might have not wanted or you didn't expect. So if you be super um, concise with your query, with things like describe the weather forecast in the city on this weekend and so on, it will give you the exact kind of information that you ask for it. So you have to be specific. You have to provide it with examples, split down your tasks, or let's say split down your query beforehand to get better results. I'm not expecting you to look too much into these, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of few of the prompts, or these are the kind of prompts that are used by few different companies. So the right one is the longer one is something that we are using for AIDXP, and the one in the left, the black one, behind one is that ones that being used for ChatGPT by OpenAI, and the one in the front, uh, the highlighted one is by Anthropic. So yeah, before you think why is Anthropic's like so small, they have kind of fine-tuned or pre-trained the model just good enough to be functional as a really good foundational models. So foundational models are something where with minimal prompting, you kind of create more you use it for more downstream tasks. Not minimal prompting, yeah, with good enough prompting, use it for downstream tasks. But this is the Cloudy one. So if you have used the Cloudy chat, it's more like a model that will do a lot of things for you. So it doesn't require a lot of guidance prompts and stuff. Yeah. And actually show a quick glimpse to how we have created the prompt. And it always generates good, consistent results as well. Just give me a second. I had it opened. Yeah. I hope this is readable.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is the kind of prompt that we have written for the AIDXP's chat. These are variables. So, if you remember the tag system that I told you, this is where we replace or let's say put in the context or and stuff. Mm, Just give me a second. All right. So, yeah. So we give it a personality at first. We give it an idea that what you are, or let's say what you as a model is, and then we give it instructions on what you have to do mainly, and then and then we give it a specific, clear steps on how it should follow along. So for those who have written, let's say, created long Jira tickets and so on, like created good Jira tickets, they might they might kind of find this something similar, or they may relate to it. Like you have to be really exact or let's say concise. You have to explain everything that the dev or let's say the QA tester or anyone has to do in your through your ticket. So similarly, we tell the model what exactly it has to do or how exactly it has to process the information that it gets in. So yeah, we also gave it some examples as well to have the responses as consistent as possible. If you can see these, this is a sample response. We were trying to make it use Markdown, but every time when we were prompting, it would slightly change the way it would use the markdown. So we had to give it a idea on how many like what's the bold size or sorry bold size right? Size of the font and stuff by giving it an example. Um, yeah, I can share this prompt as well after the meeting, but it's nothing much. It's just instructions over instructions over instructions. It follows through them, so it's fine. And there were at times when the model was getting a bit too human kind of. I mean, it would start always in responses with, I understand you are seeking, or let's say, certainty I provide you with, or, um, based on the provided context and so on. So we just gave it few examples, bad examples, good examples, to allow it to make it understand that how it should kind of begin its response with, or what's the kind of format it should use. So this kind of expansive prompt seriously changes your output. You can even use a smaller, less expensive model to kind of drive better responses. Yep. So this is it with prompting. Just an example. This is something that I would suggest you guys to explore on your own through ChatGPT. Try to recreate responses, consistent responses every time you prompt with them. So final agenda of today's call is a quick glimpse into Drupal AI. I won't be setting up live everything since I already have set up. I'll just take you through the configuration just a little bit and even show you the semantic search. The chat is kind. It's a alpha module. Sorry, alpha release module. So there are bugs. There are small issues with it. It sometimes breaks. So we'll try the chat if it works. It worked a couple of times, but I won't guarantee it works every time. Its responses are not consistent enough, so there are a lot of additional steps that Drupal AI module has taken for the chat. That kind of breaks at times. But yeah, let's begin with the search, semantic search that we talked. Oh, these are some of the major sub modules inside the Drupal AI module. They have automators for doing field to field mappings or field to field changes or anything. You have quite a cool semantic search with a really expansive indexer. Just yesterday, they released an update to the Drupal AI module, which revamped a lot of search related things. And today it's kind of better than yesterday. Yesterday, we were running a lot of tests. We faced a lot of problems. But today, suddenly, half of those problems are dealt with. We'll come to that as well. And Assistance API plus chatbot. So Assistance API, this is not related to the OpenAI Assistance API. This is just Drupal AI's own way of creating some kind of an assistant chatbot thing. I kind of initially thought this was something adapting to OpenAI assistants, but it's different, totally different things. Just happen to have same names. And they have a CK editor integration where you can just directly put in the prompt. You guys must have seen those examples a lot of times. And translate, if you have a good multilingual model in your backend, you can just give the model some text, ask it to, write it back in another language while maintaining the context and everything. Yeah, so in Search API, this gives you a similar experience to how you would normally search a Solar, uh, Solar server, or let's say Solar search server and stuff. So in the search server, you just have to select backend as AI search and it just starts working. Right now, we're using a local embedding model for the sake of testing. We didn't want to incur a lot of charges or anything. This is a small, this is a multilingual embedding model that understands your query from many different languages. And it's as small as 250 MB. barely takes any space on your RAM or anything. So, all right. So yeah, you select your database. Milvus is something that they already give a plugin for it. You just have to add the um, keys to the AI configurations and stuff. So yeah, you have a collection name. Collection name would be collection name would be the collection name inside your Milvus database, let's say a table or something kind of thing. And lastly, you have some embedding. Yeah, this is also kind of important. So there are like different ways to embed, or different ways to chunk a data and embed them. So normally, as a version 0, you would just segment, or let's say break down any kind of a web page into 10 parts, or X number of parts based on length and so on. Just give me a second. Yeah. So yeah. So here they have given a couple of strategies. You can just read it here. And I guess the second strategy is kind of better, but it's also expensive. Anyways, that's how you set up a mm, AI search server. You just have to read through it. Everything's quite self-explanatory. Um, all of this comes inside Drupal AI module itself. Even choosing an Olama module is kind of easy. All you have to do is run the Olama commands in your local and just use its URL in here, and it takes care of everything else. It takes care of finding what kind of models you already have on your local and lists them for you so that you can just choose from it. So that's your search server, and inside the index. So here's where they bought some of the major updates yesterday. Let me, for those who haven't explored this yet, uh, it's okay. I'll just give a quick idea. So they added this few explanations to make it easy for folks to select and understand. As you can see, main content is what uh, that is going to be chunked and stored into the database. Contextual content, as you can read, it adds more boosting, or it's kind of like a virtual kind of boost. It just adds more details into each of those chunks. And lastly, the most important one, filterable attributes. This was something that was missing just yesterday, and it when it got announced, I got quite a lot happy because this is super interesting and important. So imagine you have a multilingual content. You have thousands of blogs in English, thousands of blogs in Spanish and Polish. You index them all into a single database, and if you in a normal database, you would actually write a query like select XYZ rows where lang code is equal to en, or for Polish whatever it is, and Spanish and so on. But in a vector database, all of the vector databases have their own way of writing queries. If you were using something like a Postgres SQL, maybe you could use the select kind of a query, but in other databases like Milvus, and they have their own proprietary, not proprietary, they have their own way of dealing with the queries and stuff, since they have their own way of also how they query the database. It's not a single pattern everywhere. And filterable attributes kind of allow you to filter the database before you even pass in the query. So your database currently has thousands of logs of all three languages, but using the filterable attributes, you pass in line code en. It creates a subset of that vector space, which makes the search faster and also allows you to list just the results from that subspace or subset. So we put in lang code English. It's just going to filter out all the stuff with lang code English first, and then it's going to pass in your query. So this wasn't there yesterday, and we were kind of receiving data from all kinds of things, and it would make difficult to filter. I mean, we could filter it through the search API. Sorry, through the views. using the Drupal views. But then imagine you're fetching like 10 results and just one of them is polished. So if you use the view filter post getting the results, you would just get one item as the polished result. So yeah, this is something that we had already dealt with in the AIDXP stuff and all dynamic queries and stuff, but they also brought it in here today. They kind of pushed it yesterday. They must have been working on it for a long time as well. So yeah, you can select in here how or what the fields should be. Should they be a filterable attribute, or should they be something that should aid to the main content? And so right, I'll get to the views. So in views, it's quite simple. You just have it by default. Uh, yeah, while creating a view, you just select um, it's similar to a solar search or any kind of search that you might have already built in the past. Um, you just select index semantic search or whatever the search index name is. So yeah, index semantic index can be view as a view's data source, and that's pretty much it. You should add a small full text search so that you can put in your search query. Let's give it a try. Hmm, I hope it works. Yeah, these are just titles. There would be chunks in it. I'm kind of still working on um, these stuff a little bit, but yeah. There are still a few things that we are working on this end, but just to give you an example, it is sending the query to one of the embedding models and then pushing it to matching it here in our vector database and giving us the results. I can show you. I understand this isn't substantial enough to believe how it works or anything, but mm, the as you saw, I just called the embedding model like just now, and it returned something. It sends it to the. You can't see metrics. Mm, There isn't much words to show you. Anyways, you get the idea. It's that easy to get a semantic search inside your Drupal website right now.
So,
Next,
Alphonse,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt, but this is not complete drag right now.
yeah. Sorry, we were only on the semantic search. We're just getting to the RAG part.
Okay.
So we just searched for the data. Now, the RAG thing is again, it works one day, it doesn't work. The assistance API, they have mentioned it as highly experimental. They're like constantly making changes. They're still adapting stuff inside it. But I can just give you an idea. But they have made it quite explanatory. I'll just show how it looks like at least. We can give it a try as well. But yeah. So you go to assistance configuration, you just create an assistant, give it a name, give it some kind of a description. Uh, it also allows you to have session storage as in sessions of the chats, and you give it some kind of a prompt, system prompt. This was the default. I was just debugging it before the call. There were a couple of issues, so yep. So by default, this is the things that you get in here already. A lot of these text prompts are already filled in for you. All you have to do is make few changes, tune it for your need, and then use it. Just yeah, here you can select your model provider and so on using OpenAI model for the time being. Now here they provided a rack section, which is by default disabled since I assume they are kind of still working on it. So once you enable it, you just select your database. Um, in our case, it would be the semantic index, and And that's it. That's pretty much it. So the assistance API or the assistance module will kind of take care of sending your query to the database, getting it back, putting it in a nice formatted prompt and sending it to the chatbot and getting back the result. Uh, Maybe I should give it a run, but just letting you know it wasn't working today or yesterday. Just I have been debugging it. I found some issues. The results that is being returned is not. Uh, see. So AI chatbot module is another module which literally acts as a front end for the assistance module. Assistant module gives you a service or something that you can kind of use it with anything. So just to interact with the assistant module, they have also provided with a chatbot module where you can just mention the assistant ID or name, and it just uses that as a backend. I won't guarantee it works. It wasn't working before, but let's just still give it a try. It usually doesn't take this long, so it's definitely not working. Oh, oh my God, this works. So this hasn't been working for like a couple of days, and I don't know. Lucky me, it worked on a call. All right, so there you have a formatted response. It also uses Markdown and stuff. I guess the chatbot model already has a way to convert Markdown into HTML, and it also gives you all the data that it refers to as citations and stuff. Right now, if you look at the bottom left corner, it goes to example.com because that's what they have used as a base inside the code or somewhere. That wasn't configurable. I'm pretty sure it's something that we can fix later on. But the other half of it, eviction-record-impact, those are real websites. I had actually confirmed it. So let's just confirm if it's our own website. I hope it works. Ouch. Maybe these URLs are looking a bit made up. Doesn't it? I guess all of them are. You can you'll have to work a lot on the prompts and stuff, but either way, the data is the chatbot is working for now. The same chatbot that we had just configured. So yeah, this is a law related website, and that's what we are kind of getting here. So that was it with Drupal AI. Thanks to the demo gods, this worked. This wasn't working at all. Weird. Yep. So anyone, any questions, anything? We got less than 8 minutes before the next session begins. Next session as in not a technical session or anything. I guess it's something related to self-care and stuff.
Alphonse, we can also look at our POC demos as well. Just a quick glimpse. What we made as a POC initially for this I love.
Oh, that website is down, I guess. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yep, sorry, guys. This was one of the old POCs before Drupal AI modules and stuff were a thing. Um, it does the whole RAG thing, same things that RAG. It has a instant semantic search. All the data and the model and all is stored on a really small server, a really small AI server, AI named server that we have. So these are your semantic results, and on Ask AI you have the same chatbot with some markdown formatting and all. We worked something similar for the AI DXP as well. I'm not sure if this is the correct URL. Yeah, this is correct. So this is another website that we created for the Barcelona con. Not sure how many of you have seen this. Uh, it there are no examples here, but let me see. Yeah, this one has a few addition. It also for the DXP we also worked on indexing documents as well. So in this case, they were PDFs. It by default supports images as well. We don't support any other modality at the moment, but Saif, one of our new AI hires, did work on a complete multimodal search as well that would allow you to search images, text, videos, audios as well. So it's a pretty cool thing. He's working on he's side by side kind of working on merging his multimodal to this as well. It should be done soon. Right. So this is our semantic search that we showcased on Barcelona. We also have a small Ask AI. Um, this, yeah, this uses a prompt that I have previously shown you. If you guys remember the extremely long prompt, um, yeah, the prompt and referred resources for this prompt. Yeah, this actually is something else. Let me show. So sorry. We had a PDF chat as a separate component as well. Yeah. Mm. So we developed a little chat with your PDF thing. Now is it? Yeah. So I guess okay. Um, uh, right. Yeah. All the designs by Raghu and all the implementations by Omkar and Mini. Thanks to them, we have such a nice demo of everything. So yeah, this is a small chat with a PDF, something fancy, something nice. Right. That's it with the demos showcase. I hope everyone can build a chatbot based on RAG architecture and stuff like right away. As you saw, there is no manual coding. It's just configurations and some prompts. If there's still any kind of difficulty in writing prompts, you can feel free to reach out to me or anyone from the AI team. Anyone, any questions? Anything you guys have to share or anything? Feel free to.
So, Alphonse, one question.
Yeah.
Like for generating the embeddings, we need one model, correct? That will generate the
Yes.
embeddings.
Yep.
And when we write our search query, that search query is also converted to embeddings, right? So
Yes.
so at both the places we are using the model. So do we need to use the same model for this, or we can
Yes. Yes.
once? I think we need to.
We have to keep it same because every model has their own unique way of how they were trained, or let's say what kind of data they were trained on. Even if let's say model A and model B were trained on the same data, but maybe how they were before training, if they were indexed slightly differently or organized differently, it would generate different kind of embeddings. So the meanings could be same, but the numbers could those you saw those long floats that were being generated, those could kind of change a little bit. And there are also this problem with dimensions. So larger dimensions capture a lot of meaning. So there are kind of larger models out there that generate dimensions beyond 3000 or 1600 dimensions. The one which we used uses the one which you just saw in the Drupal AI demo uses a 768 dimension model. It's like super small.
And for the summary part, we use different one, right? Like for generating a summary out of the responses.
Yeah, for that we use the OpenAI model. OpenAI's model. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, like for indexing and doing the semantic search, we can use one model, and for summarizing the results, we can use the same model again or a different model. That should be fine. Correct.
So embedding models don't generate you anything. They only generate embeddings for you. They don't generate text for you. They're like a class of models that
So, yeah,
generates embeddings, and yeah,
got it. Got it. So for summarizing, we are using LLM basically.
yep, yeah. Even an embedding model is kind of a language model, but it's not generating you text, but it's just doing the thing midway, like halfway. It's just generating you the embeddings and not going further than that, or predicting the embeddings or generating, converting it back to text or anything like that. You can think of embedding models like a small part of the larger language models itself.
Got it. Yeah. I think we are over time, but
Yep, we have another call, I guess, according to calendar. So
if anyone has questions, they can ask for a quick one. Otherwise, we'll reach out on Slack.
So, not a question. So, can we have similar like instead of Alphonse giving a session based on works he has did, can we have like a Zoom call where we can split into different rooms and 4 or 5 people together with prerequisites like Olama got set up like that, and together everyone will get configurations done so that everyone will be aware of it, how to do or the things will work.
oh yeah, that's nice. I mean, that is something that we can definitely organize. We can actually have a small, a really small competition kind of thing where everyone builds a chatbot and then we kind of critique everyone's chatbot,
Mm.
each other's chatbot, and then decide like who did it the best and learn from each other kind of thing. Yeah, we can have you guys split into small teams and develop that as well if you guys want to do it.
So it's more like doing a workshop instead of a
Yeah.
session.
Huh.
Yeah. Share this idea across the channel or anywhere. Let other folks know who haven't joined yet that this is a kind of idea that you want to do or have it done, so that we also have that in loop and others would also be interested.
Right, yeah, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So you should draft your idea. I would say draft your idea on Drupal channel
Right, yeah,
and get the interest of people. And like for OS laptop calls, we converted few session into box, right? So we can convert this similar session to a workshop instead.
yeah, got
Thank you.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
apart from that, uh, oh, do we have any way with LM to access the OS shell to run some command using LLM?
Yeah, it's prepared to access the question to run. There are some free tools. You'll have to look into them. You mean something like Copilot CLI, right? Where you just type in your query. Let's say you forgot a Docker command one day. You just type in that query that what was the Docker command for, or let's say write a Docker command for XYZ task, and it just generates you just the command, which on a single press you run it. That's what you meant, right?
No, no. Like
Right?
what I want, I'm audible, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like what I want to build one agent which can be able to access my shell like of my OS, and if I command him to create one Drupal instance, then it will be
Mhm.
able it should be able to do that as well. If I want to set up a Next.js project, then it should be able to do that as well. So like I want that feasibility with this agent which can access the internet as well, and it can be accessed.
Um, if you remember Cloudy.dev, they recently upgraded, or let's say updated their name to Klein or something like that, and it it provides you that kind of functionality, but not the like Ada AI. Yes, Nishita. Okay. On second thought, Ada AI kind of directly runs on the CLI, right? Cloudy actually runs in your command, matlab, in your VS Code, but also access the Bash or CLI too and stuff. I guess Aider is better in that case.
Like also, cursor AI also has the ability to run the commands by like run with the run button. It shows only the command, and then we can, if we want to run it, then there is a run button as well. So
Hmm.
in this way, but it has its own terminal, no? So that's why it will be possible, I guess.
Uh, I guess give Aider a try.
Okay.
Right. Anyone any questions? Uh, all of you who are staying are missing the other session. All right. If no one has any questions, we'll end the call. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, especially everyone that stayed till the end. And let's meet again for the um, workshop next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Alphonse. Thank you, everyone.
I hope I didn't bore anyone this time.
No, I will propose.
I'm just kidding. I mean, the last session was kind of a bit slow, the one that I did earlier. That's why.
Yeah, we will connect. Okay.
Yep. All right.
That's
All
it.
right. Bye.